Extended after a Super Bowl run. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com, and that's right. Bengals head coach Zac Taylor signed a 4-year contract extension on Wednesday morning. He's going to be the Bengals head coach, or at least signed to be the Bengals head coach through the 2026 season, following Cincinnati's 10-7 regular season record, AFC North Division title, a 3 wins in the postseason, including 2 on the road. First road wins in franchise history. Signs that extension to be the Bengals head coach for the foreseeable future. Both offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo signed extensions. So the heart, the core of the Bengals coaching staff, including the offensive line coach and defensive line coach, and Frank Pollock and Marion Hobby, locked up for the foreseeable future. You're going to hear from Zac Taylor on a wide range of topics, including the extension in this video. But let's start with Joe Burrow, because we reacted to the Ian Rapoport report about Burrow on Tuesday, but Zac Taylor talked more about Burrow's ailing knee, that right knee that we saw him grimacing and limping during the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter after the game, and then also an update on CJ Uzomah, who played much sooner than anticipated, came back from his injury after just 2 weeks, and it was a 6 to 8 week injury. Here's Zac Taylor on Burrow and Uzomah.
Joe had the sprained MCL, and that's really a re-aggravation of something, he did back in December. But he's a tough guy. He played through it. Rest is going to be the best thing for him. So that part's encouraging. So again, he's going to get some much needed rest here these next couple of weeks, and expect him to come back fully healthy. CJ will get another MRI today, but everything so far has been encouraging. That's typically a 4 to 8 week injury that he came back and played in 2 weeks. And so that just speaks to his toughness, his character, his willingness to do everything it takes to help get the job done for our team. So, hopefully just with some rest, he'll be back to normal as well.
Overall, it's good news for both players. Uzomah set to become a free agent, so we'll see if the Bengals bring him back. He has obviously emerged in the locker room as a leader, and we'll dive into the Bengals free agents, who they should bring back, who they shouldn't, and everything in between in the coming days and weeks with the draft, the combine. All of that stuff is quickly approaching, so we will pivot from that. But one more thing, at least for now, on Super Bowl 56, and it was one that we talked about a lot, Joe Mixon not being in the game in the closing minutes. On that final drive, he wasn't in the game at all, and specifically on the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1 plays. Well, Zac Taylor was asked about it, and he should have been asked about it, right, on Wednesday. Here's what he said, and sort of admitted that it was his fault.
We were in 2-minute mode, and Samaje has done a great job. His role has really been as a protecting back, and a lot of the things that come with that, off of that. And, it's one of those situations where I called the play, a little later on the clock. And so, I was the one that said, leave him in there. Justin asked if we wanted to make a change. Justin Hill, our running back coach. And I said, just leave Samaje in there. And obviously it didn't work out for us, whether if Joe is in there or not. He's certainly deserving of the opportunity and a key moment and a key game to try to get it for us as our feature back. But again, that's just one of the decisions you make in the moment, and you got to move forward with it. There's other things I certainly could have done over the course of the game that would have put us in a better position, and unfortunately didn't get it done.
That's the thing, with that game, is there's so many moments like that. Samaje Perine, 3rd and 1. Well, what if it was Joe Mixon? Would he have, instead of running right at Aaron Donald, would he have cut it back like we've seen him do? It looked like there might have been a cutback lane, and he does those cuts, man, and sometimes he breaks them out to the other side, the opposite side of the field. Maybe he just runs straight through it for 2 yards. Maybe he makes the catch on 4th and 1 where it doesn't look like there's a chance of Joe Burrow getting the ball out, and it looks like he's going to get sacked, and then he throws it out there, and it's out there. There's a shot. Maybe, and I could go down all the lists of maybes, but that's certainly one of them. But what you want, and there's been a few times this year, right, where Zac Taylor said, after the Tennessee game, he was getting plays in too late, and that's why they had to take some timeouts, and things were confusing, and the road noise and all of that stuff. And it looked like some of that stuff got ironed out against Kansas City, but again, this is one of those things where, he was late getting the play in, he wasn't sure, so he said, just keep Perine in there. Those things can't be – you can't have those mistakes. You can't have those mess-ups. And so when you look at this extension One, I think Zac Taylor has shown that he's grown as a coach. 625-1, and I get the roster's upgraded. But the fact that he goes 10-7, wins 3 games in the postseason, he's built the culture, but there are still questions about him. There are still things he needs to improve on if the Bengals are going to be this juggernaut type team where Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC, where they can absolutely make the run that people are thinking they can make, where they can go to back-to-back Super Bowls or multiple Super Bowls over the next few years. Well, Zac Taylor's going to have to be a big part of that, and that's something that they really, really need him to progress and be better at. And we'll see if he can get to that level, where he's this elite play caller, this elite offensive mind, and elite at getting the personnel right, because it seems like there's so many times in big moments where that hasn't necessarily been the case. And Samaje Perine just shouldn't have been in the game there. And he was. And even Justin Hill, the running backs coach, was like, hey, do you want to put Mixon in? And then they take a timeout after the 3rd down, and Perine's still out there for the 4th down. And so got to clean that up. Overall, I understand the extension. I think it's a smart decision. You get him extended. He had to prove it in year 3, and he exceeded expectations. There's no doubt about it. But growth certainly still needed. I think Super Bowl 56 is a part of that. And there's no reason to think that he won't grow given the attitude he's had. He hasn't been afraid to admit mistakes. We just heard it. And he certainly hasn't been afraid to grow and learn from those mistakes during his 3 years as Bengals head coach. And one thing that I have to say about Zac Taylor, he's such a nice guy, a classy human being. I haven't heard anything bad about him from that standpoint, right? You question his coaching at times or his decision-making or things like that. I've been critical of him, really critical of him in the past. And I think it's been all well-deserved when you're 625-1. At the same time, I thought that the beginning of his news conference after the extension, just the ability to name off everybody. And then at the end, after talking for 35 minutes, he says, oh, wait, nope. He stops Pete Schramm, one of the Bengals public relations public relations person. And he was like, nope, I still have a few more people that I have to thank. And he goes back into it. So here's classy Zac Taylor after the extension. And I just thought that this clip, it's a bit longer, but this clip was worth your time.
Well, I'm very appreciative, of course. And this isn't really about me. This is about all the people in this building who are working towards a really solid future for all of us. And so I'm excited for everybody, because I certainly feel like the future is bright. There's a lot to build on. But there's a lot of people, I think, that were a big part of this season, and some people get the praise and some won't because they're behind the scenes. But there's just a lot of people that I personally want to thank, and it starts with the players and the coaches for everything they did this year, all the hard work that went into this, a lot of tremendous moments that we'll have a chance to reflect back on and be appreciative of. Certainly the ownership for being patient with us and giving us this opportunity. But there's so many other people involved as well, starting with Emily, PJ, and Pete. They do such a great job, and all the guys in the equipment room with Adam Nolman, Sam Staley, and Tyler Ronk, and Paul Sparling and his staff, with Dan, Nick, Roberto, Mike, all the people that work with them. And then you look at our strength staff, Joey, Todd, and Garrett do a tremendous job. They're one of the best crews in all the NFL. Eric Ball does such a great job with our players, with the player relations and engagement. Sam Francis with our IT does a tremendous job. Ellen, our receptionist on A1 is awesome, and everybody in ticketing and sales and the business side of things that keep this thing going behind the scenes and have done just such a great job managing all that's come with this season. Jeff Brickner with operations, Mark Heron with security, Duke Tobin and his staff who just work their tails off and have done such a great job positioning us for the president in the future. And Jake Kaiser and all the IT staff that comes with that. And, I'm sure that there's a lot of people behind the scenes as well. Alex Simons, all the stuff she does with the community engagement, TJ with the field, so there's so many people that have made a part of this season successful that, you talk about the head coach and the players and the coaches, but there's so many other people that have gone into such a tremendous season. And, it's such a special thing to be a part of, special place to be a part of. And, I'm just happy that we all get a chance to experience it and build off of it for the future. I did forget a couple people, in the video department. Travis and Kent and Brooks, they do a tremendous job, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned them, and Marissa and Dan and Dave and and that whole crew, and Hobson, everybody upstairs as well. So again, everybody's been a part of this thing, and appreciate you all as well. You guys have always treated us very fairly over the course of the season, and happy that you all got to be a part of this ride as well, and on to next year.
And that's why I think it's easy for fans to root for Zac Taylor, to root for this team. They're so likable. They're full of guys that you like. Why wouldn't you like Jamar Chase, right? The dude works really hard. He makes big plays, and he's 21. Why wouldn't you like Joe Burrow? Why wouldn't you like Zac Taylor? So we'll see, what happens this offseason. Plenty of time for that. But make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. We'll start to dive into free agency, who the Bengals could sign, who re-sign, all of those things, the draft, the combine. Everything is coming your way. So buckle up for that. But in the meantime, the Bengals, they have their coaching staff locked up, at least the heart of it, for the foreseeable future. Until next time, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.